Hi, I'm Gabe.
I'm Kelley.
I'm Jaime.
So we're sunglass today. Sunglassed.
We are.
I'm just Instagramming while we're podcasting. Social media
we're
and your
cool
social
like
media.
that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Why do we have sunglasses, Kelley?
Because I ordered them. Duh.
Because Kelley's the queen of swag.
Because I maxed out my credit card for this organization 2 months in a row.
Yay.
I can't purchase anything else. No, okay. So I'm upping our swag game because, well, we need to. And just to FYI, we're way better than our national offices. Just in case anyone from national's listening, we're better than you with our swag.
They are.
Yeah, I mean, so I've ordered new pens, which look really good, actually. Like, I'm very happy with the pens, and they're purple with purple ink. So they're like just great.
So
pens.
exciting.
Yeah. I mean, the things that I get excited about. And
Did I tell you I had one of your purple pens of black ink?
Excuse me.
I started writing and it was just black ink.
Yeah, in the box. There were a couple of weird ones, which I found hilarious because out of everyone who was really excited about purple pens with purple ink, Gabe came back with, well, what if we want to use them for like official petitions? And then they'd have to be officially black.
Somehow
and
I drew the black pen.
So
in
like
the box.
there was one black pen that Gabe drew out of the box of purple pens.
Well, I'm
which I
glad it
find
was
hilarious.
him and not like the people who were excited about purple ink.
Yes.
So yeah, we got pens, we got new t-shirts, which I got to give to Sherrod Brown this
That was
week.
totally awesome.
Thank you. And then sunglasses and what else? Megaphones. And now I'm ordering like the less exciting things like table runners.
Boring.
No, I mean, it's like we got a new logo. If you didn't notice, we have a new logo, so go check out our new logo. But yeah, if you're interested in getting any of this, you can volunteer and get a t-shirt. You can volunteer and get sunglasses. And I guess you can just like nab a pen if I'm not looking.
Volunteer link is in the show notes.
Yes.
I was at the, I think we talked about it on last week's show. I was at the Democratic debate up in Toledo and I brought some swag with me. So Betty Sutton now owns a pair of purple sunglasses.
Hell yeah.
It's not an official endorsement of the organization at this time, but
No.
she totally liked them.
Yeah.
Anybody can have them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Equal opportunity giver outers.
Mm-hmm. And one of our awesome activists in Toledo, Kristen, is it Hattie?
Yes.
Yeah, she took a lot of the swag home that can now be won if you have the best sign at a counter protest.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
she looks real good pregnant in our t-shirts.
Yes. You should check out our Instagram for that one.
Yeah.
That's on our Instagram.
Yes. So volunteer in the show notes. I have to take these off now because I can't see a thing.
Gabe,
Sorry. They are not for prescription sunglasses.
Nope.
Someday. Okay. What's in the news, Jamie?
Nothing. We should just all go home.
Uh-huh.
Our podcast this week is just
Sunglass discussion.
So yeah, so in the news, we'll talk about fun stuff later, but let's start with a downer.
fun stuff. Okay.
So House Bill 565 was introduced, and you might ask, so what's House Bill 565?
What's House Bill 565?
House Bill 565 is a bill that would charge people with murder if they have an abortion.
Wait.
So
Is it if they have an abortion or if they perform the abortion or both?
both, as
Oh.
a matter of fact.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So a woman has an abortion, she can be charged with murder, actually all the way through aggravated murder, which is Ohio's first degree murder statute.
So you're serious. This is actually a charge of murder.
Yes.
If a woman has an abortion.
Yes.
For her and her doctor.
Yes. And anyone else who participates.
Wait, so like
Thus
if you
in.
drive somebody to the clinic, are you
An
baiting?
accessory, yes, probably.
Oh,
Yeah. So basically,
clinic escorts.
Mhm. Well, there wouldn't be any clinics left, so there wouldn't be any clinic escorts.
Oh, you're right.
But anyway, so they, if you've been around for a while, what was it, 2011 when they started the signature gathering? Help me out. Or 2009? Wait, it was right before the 2010 election, I think.
No, I
Right
thought
after?
it was after that. I
Okay.
think it was 2011.
Somewhere in that time frame, a group of activists led by Dr. Patrick Johnston, who's a not birth control prescribing family practice doctor out of Zanesville, total anti-choice crazy person. His wife is known as Activist Mommy on Facebook, where she harasses trans people and harasses people outside of abortion clinics. They're a fabulous family.
That guy sang a song on YouTube one time about all he wanted for Christmas was guns and bombs.
Yes.
Guns and knives. 'cause
Yeah,
he
I mean,
couldn't have bombs.
in a
He's a
pre
doctor.
and kind of the, I feel like it was post Columbine and those kinds of things, but pre kind of the latest upsurge of school shootings. They actually 1 month for this, so they proposed a personhood amendment to the Constitution that would have meant fertilized eggs were people under the Constitution and would have accomplished kind of the same things as this bill. But it was like a ballot initiative, so they had to collect signatures to get it onto the ballot and things like that. So once that this family, because they're so into guns, actually gave away a rifle. I feel like it was even like an assault style rifle to the person who collected the most petition signatures 1 month.
It was an AR-15 raffle.
Yes, basically. So, but they aren't necessarily the ones behind this one. I was saying that because it's very similar to that one. So this one would basically change what is considered a person under Ohio law to include an unborn human. So they would be considered equal to you and me, and therefore any abortion would be an unlawful termination of another's pregnancy, and Ohio code already codes that as murder when it's not necessarily something that the woman chooses. Right now, the code exempts safe and legal abortion care, but
this isn't like an accidental byproduct of the legislation. This is what it's designed to.
Oh no, like the first co-sponsor memo we saw on the bill talked about how it would mean abortion is murder. So yes, 100% is what they mean to do.
And this bill's real long.
Yes, 284 pages long. It kind of just shows you how integrated the abortion code is into Ohio code, because basically every time there's an abortion mention, it has to be on a page in the bill. So yeah, so that was really fun to read this week. So not only does it do that, but it would also impact women who had miscarriages, because right now Ohio law very specifically also says that a woman cannot be punished for any act or omission of an act that she does during pregnancy that causes a stillbirth, a miscarriage, or those kinds of things.
I'm glad that it's in the code at least.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually the one place where Ohio is ahead of a lot of other states, because a lot of other states are starting to punish women for various things that they do during pregnancy. So Ohio code is actually fairly progressive on protecting pregnant women. But this bill would take a lot of those protections out. So it keeps the protection for having a stillborn infant, but if the doctor decides that you might have done something, like you went for a run and maybe you shouldn't have gone for a run, or you fell down the stairs and you caused the miscarriage, you could also be up for a murder charge as well.
That's not a theoretical possibility. This is what Mike Pence's Indiana did to Prabhu Patel.
Yeah, 100%.
She was locked up in prison because she had a miscarriage, and the doctors thought that she'd induced the miscarriage herself.
Yes. So this is
Mike
already
Pence
happening in a lot of
likes the
states,
idea of locking up women who have miscarriages if he can blame it on them.
Yeah, and Donald Trump said during the presidential campaign that we should lock women up for having abortions. So of course, women should be punished, was what he said, I think. And
Right.
I think we also can't, though, lose sight of the fact that, yeah, this is a big, huge bill and it's really, really awful. And we will, of course, be doing everything we can to stop it. But we can't let it like overshadow the stuff that's already still existing. I mean, we still have the method ban. We still have the fetal tissue stuff that will severely impact access to abortion. And I feel like a lot of people feel like, well, those bills aren't as bad. So, you know, the people who are presenting them aren't as bad. And really, the only difference is that Ohio Right to Life is like taking the stairs to the penthouse, and Ron Hood and Nino Vitale, who are the legislative sponsors of House Bill 565, are taking the express elevator all the way up, and the heartbeat bill people are taking the regular elevator up. You know, they're all going to get to the same point, and they're all going to, you know, their ultimate goal is banning abortion without exceptions for rape and incest. This bill actually doesn't even have an exemption for a woman's life. If the doctor is treating the pregnant woman and through no like intentional act.
Oh, the fetus fell out.
Yes. The doctor cannot do anything purposeful to terminate the pregnancy. So yeah, I don't know in what case you would be.
Her health is failing because of the pregnancy. The sponsors of this bill would rather that she die because that's God's will, and then they would put the doctor to death.
Well, no, because the doctor wouldn't go to death at that point because he wouldn't have done the abortion. But if she had this life-saving abortion, she and her doctor could be put to death.
I mean, that seems to be the case with a lot of evangelicals. Like, they want women to be martyrs for their children and or their supposed children, their potential children. Like, people make children they may not even want.
Right. You mentioned Representatives Ron Hood and Nino Vitale. They're the main sponsors of this bill. There's 20 co-sponsors here. So if your representative is Representative Brinkman, Antoni, Regner, Becker, Rydell, Keller, Thompson, Schaefer, Wiggum, Zeltwanger, Kick, Stein, Rutherford, Sprague, Marin, Young, Dean, and Romanchuk. They also believe that women in your community should be put to death along with their doctors.
Yes.
For having abortions.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why the podcast just to be a sigh this week. So
okay.
it's really uplifting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we knew that this was coming. We'd seen news of it for, I think, a couple of months now, but finally just seeing the bill this week and it's, actual introduction.
Seeing it
so we
in writing
know
and not
that
just like,
Has it made it to committee yet?
No, it actually hasn't even been assigned to committee.
It'll be interesting to see what it's assigned to, since it really is a.
Has this ever passed out of committee before?
No, this bill has never been introduced before.
Oh.
To my knowledge, only one other state, maybe two. The only one I can think of right now that's passed something similar is Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to pioneer new psychotic ideas here in Ohio.
But yeah, so Oklahoma, I feel like 2 or so years ago passed a similar abortion is aggravated murder statute.
But that got vetoed, right?
It got vetoed by the governor, and I don't think they were able to override it. I feel like they tried but failed. Maybe I should look that up before we start today. But
that was under Obama's Supreme Court.
Yes.
We're now under Trump's Supreme Court. As disgusting as it is to say that out loud. And there's, the rumors that Justice Anthony Kennedy might decide to retire this summer. Everybody's pointed to his relationship with Neil Gorsuch when Gorsuch was, I think, a clerk for him. So, they've been colleagues, teacher, student, whatever you want to call it, for decades. And so the theory is that Gorsuch got on the court and started working on Kennedy, saying, hey, don't you want to retire? Boca Raton is so nice. If you get out of here, then Trump's going to get another pick. That's what they're aiming for. And this bill is designed to appeal to a Trump-packed Supreme Court, not just Gorsuch, but whoever Trump could put in after Gorsuch, in addition to Gorsuch.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, as we saw with the Capitol Care Toledo case and everything else, a court case filed now takes years to get to a Supreme Court level. So, yeah, I mean, they could easily pass that this year and, hit the Supreme Court a couple of years from now where the makeup is completely different than it is right now.
Right.
So
as soon as we heard about this bill, you started reading the legislation. I put out the email appealing to our supporters to get them to join the fight by making a contribution, which many of you did. Thank you. And then we hit the media. Kelley Copeland, our executive director, has already been in like all the papers talking about this. The next step is to really get people engaged with this information that they're hearing about right now, to contact their legislators. There's these 20 people
before Lobby Day.
Before Lobby Day, right? There are these 20 people who've already signed on to the bill, but that means that there's another 79 members of the House and all 33 senators who have not yet signed on to this horrific piece of legislation. They need to hear from everybody listening how much actual people, not just the crazy co-sponsors of this bill, but how much regular Ohioans oppose this idea and the other attacks on abortion rights that they're currently considering.
Yeah. Well, and it might not even just be an attack on abortion right. We talked about the miscarriage stuff a little bit too, but by saying that a unborn human individual is anything from fertilization through birth, this could impact birth control access.
Yeah.
This could impact your access to an IUD or emergency contraception. This could impact your access to in vitro fertilization, because a fertilized egg sitting at an IVF clinic is now a person in the state of Ohio.
Right.
And what impact does that have on the fertility treatment process in the state of Ohio? I mean, this is aimed at putting women and doctors in prison and or executing them for having an abortion, but it has much further reaches.
We do not live in a first world country.
So any person who is pregnant, might become pregnant, might want to avoid becoming pregnant,
might need help getting pregnant. Yes.
Right. Could be impacted by this legislation.
Yes.
I saw our national office, who, you say that we're better than, they did use the pregnant people term in one of their things, and it totally read in a natural way. So I'm down with pregnant people now.
and only took it like 6 months. Yay!
I just need to.
You just need to mull on
It's
it a
got to
little bit. It's
sound
good.
natural.
Yeah.
Pregnant people.
Pregnant people.
Okay.
People who want to be pregnant, people who don't want to be pregnant, we might need help getting pregnant.
Yes.
Everybody is impacted by this bill.
People-
This bad bill.
So please do continue to donate to NARAL Pro Choice Ohio if you can. We appreciate all of that support. But
It buys things
everybody,
like fancy sunglasses.
Yeah. which is used to recruit volunteers who do work.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, we're not just like throwing your money around, I promise.
No.
But I will say
$8.
specifically, keep it local.
And everybody contact your state legislators.
Yes.
So
Now, often,
yes,
forever. And then come to lobby day.
then come to lobby day. You had a little lobby day, a little big lobby day. How did that go?
I don't know what answer you want right now.
What did you do this week, Kelley?
I've worked over 40 hours, and that was before I got here.
I think you worked 40 hours straight, Alma.
I did actually 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we and by we I mean there were a little like close to 30 of us from Ohio, from Cleveland and Columbus, and like outlying cities who went to DC on Tuesday for the opening arguments of NIFLA versus Becerra. Who's Becerra?
Somebody in California.
Oh,
The
okay.
Attorney General or somebody of California.
And
probably.
NIFLA is like National Institute of Family, blah blah blah. No one cares.
Some anti-choice.
The
crazy
L
bill.
stands for life. NIFLA.
Family Life Institute. Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Family Life Institute. What? Not
I don't
important.
NIFLA is the Crisis Pregnancy Center people.
Yeah.
The fake Women's Health Center people.
Yes. Anyway, so we went there for the opening for a rally during the opening arguments of NIFLA versus Becerra, which is a Supreme Court case challenging the FACT Act that was passed in California, which requires fake women's health centers to like label or like to acknowledge like via like a sign all of the options for pregnancy, whether or not there's a medical provider on site, and like something else like that seems pretty reasonable to me.
You know, just not lying to people.
Yeah, it's
Right.
essentially like saying, hey, you can't pretend to be a medical provider and lie to people. And so anti-choicers are like framing this as a like free speech argument, and like pro-choice people are just like, is it really constitutionally protected speech to be fraudsters?
Right.
And that's the
Tax
question.
funded.
Tax-funded fraudsters. And
Yes.
27 states, not in all states, but in 27
Not
states.
in California, where this case actually comes from. But
Yeah.
yes.
It's in Ohio.
In Ohio.
In
yes.
Ohio, yes. In 27 other states total. Yeah. Woo. So yeah, it was real wet, real cold.
Really windy. From what it
Really-
looks like too.
Yeah, it was.
But you guys made being completely wet, cold, and miserable look really, really good.
So I didn't know this until we got there, but there were actually dueling rallies.
Yes.
So there was like the rally put on like by Lady Parts Justice League, and then like some squares next to us, and like people shouting into like microphones like at like different times or like at the same time.
Mhm.
And like so Team Ohio, being Team Ohio, we were like on the line, like just
Of course.
bothering the anti-choicers
Out in front of the U.S. Supreme Court.
out in
Yes.
front of out in front of the Supreme.
Well, 100 feet away from it, because again, the Supreme Court gets a buffer zone and clinics don't. I just like to remind everyone of that as frequently as possible.
yeah.
Right.
We were not allowed on the stairs.
No.
But it was cool. I mean, we were probably one of the biggest showings that were there. I mean, Team New York showed up after we did, and they like, oh yeah, we've been on the bus for so long. We've been on the bus since Florida. I was like, that's nice.
Like I slept on the bus.
I tried to
Or
sleep on the
tried
bus. I have kinks
Attempted
in my
to.
back. I cannot work out. So yeah, we had a very cold, very wet, very windy rally, and from this U.S. Supreme Court, which was fine. I'm so tired and I'm so angry. But what was actually nice is after that we had a lobby day, like that NARAL National put on. So we got to meet with U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown. We got to give him a "I am pro-choice Ohio" T-shirt, which was really cool.
That was totally awesome.
It was damp. but he took it anyway. And then
Because he's awesome.
And then I tweeted to his wife that if he doesn't wear it, I hope she does.
That was totally cool. You were on the bus ride home tweeting with the senator's wife about was he going to wear the T-shirt that you gave to him earlier that day.
I was.
And it was a total two-way conversation.
It
She was
was.
like, oh, well, in case you didn't know, I checked him out before I married him. He is totally pro-choice.
And I said, oh, if only all of us could do that.
Yes.
Must be nice to be able to check people's voting record.
Yeah. Meeting with the senator is great. That's something that's sort of set up and just part of the, how things happen in Washington. The Twitter conversation with the senator's wife later that night is totally just like the most amazing 21st century. We live in the future now sort of thing.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was like, thanks, Connie. But then we met with the staffer from Joyce Beatty's office, and then a lot of the Cleveland folk went up to Marsha Fudge's office. So we got to talk to them about fake women's health centers and how we'd really like some influence on the Ohio legislator, not fund them. And then a few of us broke off and because we had some time before we left, and we stopped by Representative John Lewis out of Atlanta, his office, and we got to check out his office, and then we got to see him, and that was really cool. And we had no business being there, but it was still really cool.
It looked really cool.
It was hello, you are a civil rights hero. And it made people cry.
Yeah. I think I would. Yeah.
Every now and then when you do one of these DC lobby days, you get some random, other member of Congress who's not even from your state. And last time I was there, we did Gwen Moore. And Kelly Copeland is the world's biggest Gwen Moore fan. She thought Gwen Moore should have been Hillary's VP nominee.
Yes.
And so, but Kelly was sick that day. And so she was back in the hotel room.
Oh no.
Just sick. And so we went to Representative Moore's office and been our boss is the biggest fan of your boss. And there's no other reason for you to be there because you're not their constituent.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, we have no business being here, but we're big fans.
Yeah.
He's very short. He's shorter than I am.
Huh?
He's a tiny man.
Okay.
And opposite of that, I was watching the video and looking at the pictures of Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio who spoke at the rally, which was awesome.
Yeah, we didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
it was
in his
sad.
office.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
We got video of it.
Yeah, we've got video of him speaking because he spoke at minute 44, and I think you guys finally got there at minute 55 because Liz Winstead was like, "The Ohio people are finally here."
oh my god, I'm gonna fight her. I will fight you, Liz Winstead.
So
You do not know the hell I went through to get there.
she probably would enjoy the story though.
Mhm.
You can tell her all about it because they're going to come to Columbus with Ladies First Justice this summer. So
I'm so excited about that.
Yay! Can I be on the show? I do stand up.
so
Now you love her.
I mean, no, I don't. I'm just angry.
but it's funny because you don't really realize. I mean, you see pictures of Tim Ryan and you think he looks kind of tall, and then
I met him at the Women's March.
Yeah, you actually stand next to him and you're like, oh dude, you are. I mean, he towers me. I'm a solid 5'8", and when we took a picture at one of the last lobby days we were there for with him, he's still a good solid head above me. And then the picture they took of the person holding the umbrella over him from not on the platform while he's standing on a platform, he looked like a superhuman giant in the picture. That was very funny.
Speaking of Lady Parts Justice, we actually got to meet Eunice.
Yeah,
and
Eunice the uterus.
Eunice the uterus, and I don't know if the listeners would know this, but Michelle Davis, who filled in for me while I was out on maternity leave, she brought Laura in.
Yes, her little sock puppet.
Her sock puppet that was for the socket to PP.
It trolled the students for life when they came here.
Oh my
it was
god,
fabulous.
The pictures from that are amazing.
I'll have to dig some up and put them in the show notes because they're hilarious.
But Lara in and Eunice got to have a conversation.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of the puppets meeting each other, and I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Do you know why her name is Laura in?
I'm trying to figure it out.
It's
no.
NARAL backwards. So it was a time in DC. I'm never coordinating a bus trip again. But I'm glad for everyone who went and everyone who had a good time. And
once every 5 years.
Once every 5 years.
It'll roll back around.
Our next organizer can organize the next one.
There you go.
I'm good until 2021. 2022.
Yeah.
Nope. I can't math. 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
In my
2021. Yep, that's it.
In my early 30s. when I'm definitely too old to be doing that.
Mhm. So yeah, so that was fun.
I don't know if fun's the right word. It was an experience.
There you go. But you
And
guys
it
did
was
fabulous
successful.
work.
It was
amazing
successful.
work.
That's really what it and people were like, oh man, I wish you had gone. I'm like, me too.
Silly people with like jobs and shit.
Whatever.
Shoot, I just did it.
Good job.
And now Gabe has to beep it out.
Well, I mean, like clearly they're like, oh, I should have arranged something, which means like, oh, you could have and you just didn't. I'll remember that next time I invite you to something.
Next time they get invited to a special event. So what's up on the event calendar?
This coming weekend is actually the Bust and Stigma Burlesque show. There's burlesque and comedy at Bossy Girls. Doors at 8, show at 9. It's gonna be a good time.
Saturday?
It is Saturday, the 24th. It's been a year since I've done that show, and that show last year is actually how I announced my pregnancy to the world via Cosmopolitan magazine.
You like doing big life events at comedy events.
I do, and it's not on purpose. It's just how it works out.
That is going to be Saturday in the evening. It's at 9:00. Bossy Girls Pinup Joint.
Yep.
Earlier in the day on Saturday is at the State House. Not our event, but one we just want to mention: the March for Our Lives. I think my mother-in-law is coming to it.
I'll go if it's not like snowing.
Right.
Supposed to be rainy and wet and snowy again. So yeah,
But I guess I'm not going. Not because I don't believe in it, because I'm tired.
Rally in support of the movement for gun control.
Safe schools, the Parkland kids. Yes.
Yeah, started by the Parkland kids, who I think are on the cover of Time magazine. It just got announced this morning.
There are, and I appreciate the photo, but I'm still confused by why one of the girls is not wearing shoes.
I think it's because they're high school kids.
But the rest of them are wearing shoes. Like, it's a weird stylistic choice. I don't understand it.
You know what it is? They're 18-year-olds. And
Actually, not even. They're much younger.
Okay.
Some of them.
They're high school kids, and high school kids make odd choices, which I'm going to segue here to a policy point. Niraj Antani, one of the previously discussed legislators who wants to put
Arm your
women and
fetus.
their doctors to death, wants to arm high school kids.
Yes.
No. Specifically only in rural areas, not the urban ones. So what I'm saying is he wants to arm the white ones.
Kids. Yes. White kids can be armed, not black kids. Sorry.
But only the 18-year-olds.
Yes.
Which, yeah, he said if you're 18, you should get to carry a long gun.
It's illegal to even buy a long gun until you're 21, I'm pretty sure. I think you can buy handguns.
I thought it was
Maybe the other way. It's the other way around. Sorry. Yeah.
But like, picture every high school movie. The senior bully out of that movie. He's like beating kids up, and it's like Cobra Kai and Karate Kid and all that. And Niraj Antani's solution is to hand that bully.
No, only the good guys will have guns, Gabe.
I'm picturing the scene from Dazed and Confused where like Parker Posey plays the senior, and she's like pouring ketchup and mustard all over the freshman. And then what if she had an assault rifle strapped to her?
Oh, this is dystopian.
This is Niraj Antani's solution.
Yeah.
He did walk it back, but like it's still a terrible plan.
He walked it back after he put it out there.
Yeah.
Along with his co-sponsoring of House Bill 565, which put women and their doctors to death.
Speaking of Niraj Antani, Sunday, he will be speaking at a pro-life rally on Palm Sunday. Is it going to be at the Kennedy?
Yeah, so it's at the Women's Med
Street.
Center.
Yeah, across the street from the Women's Med Center, and there's going to be a counter rally because that's just how it's going to be. So
it's not a clinic day, so we will be there to support the clinic and show Dayton.
NARAL will not be there, but maybe some people who listen to the show will be there.
It'll be a fabulous time.
I went to the last time he spoke there.
Yeah, you did. You took video. I remember.
Yeah, I took video
when he was 25.
What?
When he was 25.
When he was 25? Yeah. He's a young man.
Who looks old, but
and I
27 going on 80.
I was totally gonna like blend in with the crowd, and I completely did. You couldn't spot me at all amongst all the other people.
That like white facade.
Yeah.
I think you also had your trench coat and your hat, and like you actually did do semi like Inspector Gadget
knew that
styled
Gabriel
disguise.
from NARAL was there, and so that I'm just gonna film this thing, and I set up my camera beside like the news cameras that kind of blended in, and nobody's looking at me, and I thought, okay, I'll just get his speech and Husted, I think, was with him.
I think so, yeah.
And so they started speaking, and like out of nowhere, the local pro-choice group just walks out of the crowd and starts screaming them down. And I was like, where did they come from? And the audio from that is horrible. You can't hear a thing because all of our side that I didn't even know about is just screaming them down.
Yes.
It was great.
The Dayton folks, like, I don't know who leads them, but they're
They didn't have a leader.
Yeah.
I came up to him afterwards and I was like, hey, I'm from NARAL. Who organized this? And every single one of them was like, we don't really know. There was just a Facebook event that somebody distributed.
Who is the phantom leader of the Dayton people?
It's totally decentralized.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
which is
plucky.
pretty
I
awesome.
love it.
Yeah.
But just to make it clear, we do not condone, no protests can happen outside of clinics on clinic days. Please.
Right. It interferes with patients.
It interferes with patients and all those kinds of things. We only really support and push forward protests when patients aren't around. So like tonight in Toledo is their 40 days of harassment. They call it 40 Days for Life. Finishing rally in Toledo is tonight, and they're countering them because it's after the patients are gone. This is happening on Sunday. There are no patients there. Sunday. So we do fabulous things like yarn bombing the clinic and things to make it pretty on patients' days, but we do not ever, ever, ever protest because it just makes things even crazier and worse for patients.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The next event in the calendar is April 8th, afternoon.
Yes, that is right before Advocacy Day. So we're going to be making uteruses. So feel free to come knit, come crochet, come cross stitch, come make, or maybe you could even make a little polymer clay one. I got plenty of polymer clay.
That could be fun.
To deliver to legislators. If we have, I don't think we'll manage to pull off making 132. So we'll probably just make it for our champion legislators as a little cheeky thank you. And then April 9th, I have a phone bank. So that's going to be the beginning of our electoral phone banks. Woohoo! Should we have endorsements out by then?
We will.
Okay. And then April 10th is Advocacy Day. So we'll be at the State House, raising hell.
Yes.
Saying hi to folks.
Link to register in the show notes.
Please register. It'll be
Register
fun.
now.
That's during the day on the 10th.
Yes.
And then at night on the 10th is the next debate for the Ohio Democratic Party.
Of course.
All of the
Where is that?
It's in Middletown. I've already got my media pass. I'll be in the media room full day that day. So we really, we want to hear a question from the moderators. I think WLWT is, I think they're the ones that are moderating this debate. The party, I've talked to some of the party officials in previous rounds of debates, not the Toledo one, but the ones before them. They'd sort of controlled everything, but since then have really handed stuff off. This debate, the one in Toledo, they're run by the local news officials. So the candidates don't get a say in what the questions are. The party officials don't get a say in what the questions are. So we'll figure out who's hosting this and come up with their Twitter feeds. And maybe ask folks to tweet them. Hey, I would like to hear about this issue. A total abortion ban. I would like to hear about this issue. What all of these candidates. Nice. What all of these candidates think about the various abortion restrictions, how they would act as governor if and when additional abortion restrictions come down the line.
Yes.
So we want to hear more of these questions.
And whether they would support actually making abortion more accessible, like rescinding Ohio's Hyde Amendment, or making sure students get comprehensive sex ed, or
I think it's really weird that Ohio does not have standardized sex ed standards.
We don't even have health standards because they're so scared of sex ed standards. So we don't even have standards for what kind of nutritional information your health class has to give, or what kind of information on God, what else did I learn in 10th grade health? That was a really long time ago. But what, all the things you learn in health class that aren't sex ed, we don't even have standards on those because we're so scared of talking about sex.
So I went through the school system in Georgia, 5th grade through 9th grade. And each year we had a different type of sex ed. I will say that it was all abstinence based, but at least I had it. Yeah. And I got some useful information out of it. Now, when I moved to South Carolina, bets are off. But like Ohio, it's set by the district. That's ridiculous.
Actually, sometimes it's so different in different rooms in the school.
Just whatever the teacher wants to teach.
Yeah, basically, because we've had interns and those kinds of things actually try to do research on like what kinds of sex ed are available in schools in Ohio, and they can't even get that basic information because yes, sometimes it's controlled at a district level, but sometimes in like big, huge districts like Columbus and those kinds of things, it can vary from classroom to classroom.
Yeah, I really want to get Jim Helton from Tri-State Freethinkers and his daughter on here to talk about like what they've been doing for sex ed.
You should totally do that.
Yeah, no, they're great. I will. I'll do my best.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll raise hell. I mean, okay, I'm done. Back to events. April 5th. I have not yet put this on the Facebook calendar, but that is going to be our next luncheon lobby at the University of Cincinnati. That'll be with Representative Kelley. There will be a brief training on like how to lobby before lobbying. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. And then April 14th, I am like that weekend I am in Massachusetts doing other things.
That clip.
And then April 21st is the bowl-a-thon.
Nice.
Yay.
People can still sign up to have a bowling team.
Absolutely. And you should put my bowl-a-thon link in the show notes so people can donate.
Totally should.
Okay. Sounds
hey,
good.
why haven't you donated to mine? Call you out.
He just hasn't gotten to it yet. And I actually think that our brand new organizer who is starting on Monday for Northern Ohio is organizing a little something for NARAL with the preterm bowl-a-thon too.
Yeah,
So
I think she's organizing a NARAL team for Cleveland for the preterm bowl-a-thon. I don't know.
No, there was already a really fun team, so we just joined another really fun team because we want to be with the cool kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to do things that aren't work.
Yep. What? You speak silly.
Between my baby and my job, I don't have free time. And when I do have free time, it's still on abortion.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Check out all of this information in the show notes. And we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye. What are you doing?